healing to me is such a personal journey. And if some people had been in on my stories, I was going through my dark nights, I would have been absolutely crushed if somebody could see what was going on as I was going through, my stuff, because it was so horrific.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
I'm looking around. It's beautiful, and the sounds are nice because it really is 3D.
Yeah, it's made out of wood.
Yeah, it's sounds bouncing off of everything and very calming. And then before I know it, the music shuts off. I'm like, wow, that was 40 minutes?
Right.
That was 40 minutes. And we spoke. The 10 minutes of silence was a little tough.
Yes.
I got to tell you, the 10 minutes of silence, I had to
start looking around.
I had to concentrate on my breathing.
Someone's going to come in here soon.
Beautiful.
I had to concentrate on my breathing. I know I take, say, 7 breaths a minute, and I overestimated. And for 10 minutes, so if I calm my breathing down and do 7 breaths a minute, I'll be able to judge. Because with no clock or anything, that's very, very difficult.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I actually way overestimated. I estimated. I think I was expecting it to be like 7 minutes. But here's the thing with the 40 minutes. The 40 minutes felt like maybe 10. I mean, it goes so fast. Yeah. And I get out, and I'm sort of groggy. And I was asked, like, how do you feel? And I don't know. Like, I really didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know quite what to make of it. I didn't know. It's not like I went in there and had a religious experience. And
God didn't show up to you inside the egg?
No, it would have been really cool because him and I got some stuff to talk about. So I didn't know. I tempered what I wanted to say. Like I didn't want to say anything. That was the weird thing. I didn't have anything to say.
It's an unknown.
It is. I didn't. Yeah. But I remember driving home, and it was very peaceful driving home, and we spoke. Like, what did you? I wanted to thank you for having me in, and we spoke a little bit. And I said, I really don't know what to tell you. I don't know yet.
Right.
That night, I had about the best night's sleep I've had in years.
Beautiful.
In years. Yeah. Fell right to sleep. And I fall asleep with it. I always watch TV, and that's how I fall asleep.
Wow, okay.
But I fell right to sleep, deep sleep, woke up refreshed. Yeah. And, that's that alone, and it continued for quite some time.
Well, it takes 5 to 7 days to integrate into your system.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I told you. I said I didn't want to reach out right away because I wanted you to be able to process some of it first.
Yeah. I may need to come back for more. I may need to come back for more.
Well, as I said, if it takes 5 to 7 days, do people come regularly?
I'm in there every single week.
I'm saying, do they come like on a 2-week? Like,
yeah,
do people
they do.
Keep
a lot
back?
of people do actually come in, especially if they have a goal in mind. Because a lot of people have been through a lot of very traumatic stuff. And a lot of times you want to work on forgiveness. You want to work on, things that release you from whatever trauma happened to you, or trauma you caused for somebody. Because there's 2 ways to that freedom deal, right? The release.
Yeah.
No.
So your daughter, the one that wasn't speaking, how old is she now?
She's 13.
She's 13. Has there ever been a relapse, or does she go in that regularly?
This is so cute. She doesn't want to go in there in person. And so I said, that's fine. I said, because I would make her come in, and this is not a good thing on mom end here. You don't make your kids heal because it doesn't work. But, what I realized was in buying this egg and making this business and doing all this stuff, you know what she said? The reason that you need to work so hard is because I put us in debt because you got this egg to help me. And she goes, so now I'm the reason that we're in this situation. And I went, oh my God, that's not where I was going with this.
But you're right.
But she realized that at 13.
Right, but that's true. But what we agreed on was I would do a remote session with her instead so she can be at home. And I said, the rule is you can't be on your electronics when you're in the Harmonic Egg remotely. So I take her picture and I put it in the Harmonic Egg and I put it on the certain colors we want to work on. I put a lot of times in there for her speaking her truth because she had such a hard time speaking her truth, right? That I put her in there for that, or I'll put her in there for peace and calming. I'll put her in there for something that can help her through whatever she's going through. And she's agreed, as long as we do it remotely, I'll stay off my electronics. Just let me know when I'm in, let me know when I'm out. And I'm like, okay, so that's what we have agreed on.
And has it continued to help her?
Absolutely.
Does she identify it?
She does.
She does.
Yes.
Now,
And
when she's in her remotely, was she just like lay in bed? And
Yeah,
just,
she's in bed. She's reading her book, or she'll get in the bathtub. Just something to distract her from not being on her phone or her iPad.
It's a hard thing to do.
It's
I'm sure.
hard, but that was our agreement. Either you go in person, and do a remote session, or not remote. You do a real session in person, which was making her angry, and you can't make people heal when they're angry, right?
I know you had offered that to me, the remote session.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole reason we don't do Zoom podcasts because it's not the same.
It's not the same.
we have to see
Absolutely.
face to face.
I agree.
So that's why I took the trip down to Hillsborough to actually sit in this egg and experience it firsthand.
Right.
And I'm very happy I did.
Yeah.
Not to mention, so did you build your business around this egg? Or was that...
My original office was literally 3 miles down the road. It was the most perfect, amazing office. It was in this dentist's office. It was a suite B to his office. He was a great landlord, adore the heck out of him. I had suite B. It was, some crazy amount of money a month, which I could handle, no problem. The heat was like $100 a month. But then when I get to get the harmonic egg, this thing is huge.
It
and
is very large.
wouldn't, yes, it would not fit in my office. And I went, oh my gosh, I got to get a new space. So my boyfriend took me out the night that Gail called me and said we could get the egg sooner. Was I interested? And I immediately said yes. And then I went, I don't have a space.
To put it.
Right. So then Dennis
Does this
came
thing get shipped in one spot, one piece?
in a pod, one of those big pod.
Oh, so it's together.
They put it together in Wichita, Kansas, and then take it all apart, pack it in this pod, and then the pod delivers it. And then the couple flew over from Wichita, Kansas, and bought it in piece by piece and put it together.
I was going to say, like, do you strap it to the roof of your car like Aunt Edna from Vacation?
Right.
when
It was huge, and it was a 2-day event
see
putting
a car
this thing
driving down
together.
the street with this big egg on it.
Just to give everybody a little perspective, so somebody my size,
I was going to say, if you could fit in it, it's got to be pretty big.
the only thing
Yeah.
my feet were touching the door.
They were touching the door?
They were
Okay.
touching the
Yeah.
door. But alongside of me, you could probably fit, I want to say 4 more of me, so 5 of me
Correct.
total in there
Yeah.
comfortably.
It's very huge.
Yeah, so it's quite...
It's 7 feet tall, and it takes up an 11 by 11 foot print on the floor. So that's how much space you need for the egg. Of course, our room's like 15 by 18 or whatever it is. So yeah, I mean, we went bigger, obviously, to give you room so you're not claustrophobic in there.
Well, now that brings me to another question. Have you ever had more than one person in there, or is it just
No,
a one-person
It's a
thing?
one-person thing. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got to make 2-seaters so you can start making back some of that 60 grand to spend on it.
Well, actually, we're almost all paid off.
Oh, really?
I got to be honest. I have 2
Well, you
payments left. I'm so grateful.
Good
so,
for you.
So it's catching on.
Oh my gosh, people are so happy. People are so happy because people have been able to get rid of migraine headaches. People have been able to get rid of the anxiety. People have been getting rid of all these different things. Very touching story. We had a woman go in there and she actually saw 2 babies that she had lost, for miscarriage, etc. And then she saw her son, who's here currently. But she was able to see that. And she, at the end of her session, she saw a big butterfly. And she just saw she said it was so magnanimous. She said it was amazing.
Did you hear about what happened to me?
I did not.
You didn't.
I didn't want to interfere with any of that because I really truly believe that healing is such a personal journey. And that's yours to share. And I would never ask anyone to divulge that.
So here's the odd thing that happened in there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's grandparents' house had a smell. Your grandparents' house had a smell?
Sure, absolutely.
Your grandparents' house had a smell?
Absolutely.
Well, so did mine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
We
in
also
the-
had the plastic over the couches, too, because my grandparents were Italian.
There you go.
2 kitchens? 2
You
kitchens.
have to have 2 kitchens.
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 I could smell my grandmother's house.
Beautiful.
I could smell my grandmother's house. And it came out of nowhere. I have no idea where it came from.
Yeah.
My grandmother and grandfather lived in that house.
Yep.
And it's not an overly pleasant smell.
Okay.
So it's not like you could pipe old lady smell in there. It's not like burning sage and stuff like that or
Right.
essential oils. Old lady smell does not come in a bottle. No. And that's what it was.
Wow.
So it's not like you were tricking me. And if it was like, oh, I smelled roses just like on my wedding day. No,
Exactly.
no, I didn't. I smelled an old lady's house.
Right.
So that's the weird experience. So when you say you saw butterflies, stuff like this.
Yes. It's real.
Yeah.
It's very real.
It's crazy because I am not that guy to believe that crap.
But you know what? If you go to sleep and you have a dream and you wake up and you tell me about your dream, are you making it up?
Kind of. My mind is. I mean,
But is it your mind or is it a visitation?
Listen, we could get into a Freudian discussion
Right.
about, your mind is sort of making it up, but it is your deep-seated desires and stuff like this. But
But
I understand what you're
the
saying.
stuff that I've seen in the egg and the stuff I've experienced in the egg has been just so unreal. And the neat things that people come out and they tell me. There's been a couple of times where we just like the ladies and I talk and we just start like with the tears because we're like, you can't make this stuff up.
Now, do you take people's feelings from the egg also?
I don't know.
No,
No,
do they
like-
say, like you have to ground yourself. I know what he's saying. When you have to ground yourself when you're doing end-of-life massage,
Same thing.
Same thing. Yeah.
You know what?
does that ground itself or does it bad energy stay in there?
No, actually, we use the white lights afterwards to clear the energy in the egg. That's what the white lights are for. I mean, they're there. People can do sessions in the white lights. It's beautiful. I put people in there for that.
I think the question I asked is, I said, is there a camera in here in case like I need to get out or something?
Well, she showed you the bell, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
the bell.
there's a bell.
But I was worried about, like, I don't want anybody. I can just picture 5 people sitting in a control room going, look what he's doing now.
Now, is there like a speaker in there where you can talk to someone?
No.
We're like,
No.
Kev,
No.
you're not supposed to get naked in here. Put your clothes back on.
No, there's no camera. I almost cried the one day. I had one client ask me that. She's like, "Oh, is there a camera in here too?" And she's looking all around, and I almost cried because I'm like, healing to me is such a personal journey. And if some people had been in on my stories, I was going through my dark nights, I would have been absolutely crushed if somebody could see what was going on as I was going through, my stuff
Yeah.
because it was so horrific.
There is somebody. There is a part of you who is a businesswoman,
Correct.
and you have to protect your investment.
Mm-hmm.
So, with the harmonic egg, have you ever had anybody freak out in there? Any negative effects?
We had one woman, but we kind of banned her from the place anyway. She was just one of those people that you kind of go, yeah, no. Yeah, she was just a very weird duck. She wanted to be a business partner. She wanted to be all these things. And I was like, I don't do business partners, but thank you. And she's like, oh, but I'd be really great. And she was promising all of these things. And then as soon as I said no, things went really bad. And so I just simply refunded her. And I said, thank you so much for your time, but you can go now. So yeah, I mean, not everybody's for my business, and I don't need everybody in that regard. If you don't have high intentions and true grit, I don't think we're a good match.
And if you don't want the help,
Correct.
Well,
Then
then, like
you're
I
not
said,
my
yeah.
you're not
you're not good for your business. They're not
Correct.
good for your business.
So
Right.
that's the big thing. I'm a big believer in you have to put something out in the universe in order for it to become real.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm just like, I'll give this thing, and I went down there with a totally open mind, saying,
Sure.
let me see what this is. I read a little bit about it, but I didn't want to read too much about it.
right.
And if I went down there, I'm like, well, let me try this crap.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try it. I don't think I would have gotten hardly any benefit from it because I would have been very resistant to it.
Not true.
Really? That's
Very
really?
much so, yeah.
I always thought that you would have to somewhat,
Be receptive still.
yeah.
Nope. Because I put people in there that are like, my wife made me come.
Your daughter.
Right, my daughter. There you go. Right, that was a big non-believer.
example.
Right, and she benefits from there. But we've put animals in there, and they don't believe in it or not believe in it. Right,
that's true.
and we put their picture in there, and 2 days later they're running around like a kitten again or something.
How do you tell the animal not to be on a cell phone? No, that's the hard part.
You know
Tough
what?
one. And get rid of your watch.
Yeah, right. Animals fall asleep when they're in there. The doggy parent, will send me a picture of the animal sleeping.
So animals with anxiety, thunder and lightning storms, stuff like that.
Right? Yeah, arthritis.
Wow.
Just go down the list.
Wow. No wonder you're doing so well. Because
Yeah.
most people will do anything for their pets.
Oh my gosh, we have one woman who was bringing her cats and their kittens, in there, and they were sick, and she gives them the Divinia water, which is a structured water, and she puts the cats in there, and the cats are fine now.
So is there anything else on the horizon that you've seen shows promise like the harmonic egg?
Like the EES system is interesting. It's different than what we do. It's still scalar technology, but the EES is something that like Jason Shurka is doing that. Dr. Michaels does that one.
What's the EES?
EES is Enhanced Energy Systems. And I've been to it. It's actually in my old massage school location in Hillsborough as well. And Marie is one of the owners over there. And Marie is the owner. And she's a very lovely person. And I love what she's doing. But we have very different technologies. They're similar and different at the same time. So you could go in there with your broken ankle, and I can go in there with my tumor, and we would both receive healing. But the thing you're getting from the harmonic egg is like the reason why your ankle is broken and what you want to believe in to help you to heal. So it's a little more specific.
And that's all at Abundant Healing is really a nice
Unique.
place. It's a really nice, calming place. There's nothing anxiety ridden about it when you walk in. The smells are nice. And listen, I'm not a smell person.
Does it smell like your grandmother's house when you go in there?
It was like somebody held like the scent and just brushed it across, and then it was gone. Then it was gone, and that was kind of
very interesting, right?
That's a little freaky.
Now, what's the website for your company?
AbundantHealingNJ.com.
So, do you want to throw out any other plugs, social media?
Yeah, we've got our Facebook page, which is the Abundant Healing NJ, I think it is, and for Facebook, and so we have a page, and then we have a regular friends page for that, and trying to think what else we've got
Instagram?
going on. Instagram, of course, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're
It's all
connected.
Abundant Healing NJ.
Correct.
We'll put links to those.
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
the show notes.
Yeah.
So you've got some life that you led that led you to what I think is what you're meant to do.
Yeah, very much so.
And we're coming to the end of this thing here. I always like to find out there's a lesson in everything. And you've gone through different forms of suffering, and now you're helping other people with their suffering.
Right.
What do you think it's taught you?
Oh, mercy. There's,
It
what?
taught you mercy.
Don't ever,
There you go.
mercy. There you go. But you don't shoot the messenger, because I've met so many amazing people. And now when I meet different people, I just look at them and I go, wow, I don't know why we've met, but I'm really grateful to meet you. I'm looking forward to our journey, because I don't understand things at first when I meet people. But when you go the hindsight part of it, you go, that's why we met. Now I get it. Because then you look back, and with that, you can start putting all your pieces together. Because I had an herbalist when I was 28, and a client introduced me to her, and she helped me with my stomach and helped me with all sorts of things from my bulimic history. And she helped me to get forward with all these herbs and supplements and different things. And she was amazing for me. I worked on her the month before she died at 89. She was such a blessing to me.
Sometimes you certain people come into your life and you don't know why. Like 25 years ago, I met this guy.
Wow.
And then resurfaced in your life.
Yeah.
And I think you're always where you're supposed to be.
Very much
You're always
so.
in the right place.
Yep.
And sometimes you got to crawl into a big, giant mork from orc egg
Yes.
and get some healing.
Yes.
I'm going to start calling. I think you should change it. I think you should change it, because then people are going to know exactly. Well, nobody knows what mork from orc
No,
is
not
anymore.
anymore.
Not
People our
anymore.
age do.
Yeah,
Not too many
exactly.
people.
Yeah.
Now that Robin Williams no longer,
Yeah.
is on our scene.
Pam
Yeah.
Pam Dorber.
Pam Dauber.
Yes. Yep.
But yeah, it is a wonderful, wonderful experience. And
Thank you.
would have been my first choice. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like,
Right.
Kevin, you've been in a shooting, you got some trauma. Go sit in a harmonic egg. Nah, I'm going to try some other things first. I'm
Right.
good.
Listen, I'm definitely thinking about it now.
It's for nothing else. For nothing. Here's my
Right.
draw to get you down there. It will get you to unplug, and you will have 50 minutes of relaxation.
Yeah.
For that and that alone, if there was no other benefit, would be a good selling point.
Oh, yeah. Well, I jokingly call it the mommy timeout chair. Because I'm like, what mom doesn't want to just be like, I am not here anymore. My name is not mom.
Are you able to put yourself in there?
I do. I do every single week. Yeah. And
Put
like,
a picture
I usually,
in and just.
No, you
or
go-
do you
No,
go
I
in
go.
yourself?
I go in person because I want that time. I want that nap.
You want that?
I want
you,
the
I
nap.
can't.
It's been a long time.
I had no desire to sleep. I wasn't even tired.
No. Well, what's funny? I didn't sleep my first time in there. I didn't sleep my second time in there. When I was in, Ohio, I didn't sleep for those sessions. I don't remember. I don't even remember if I slept when I went back to Pittsburgh when they had that one open, because I did this. I traveled 7 hours 3 times to do this.
Just to see if there was some.
No, I bought it after the first time.
Oh,
That was. I purchased it after that. I missed a head-on collision of my kids speaking. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out, but this is happening. So then the second time I went out, because I was like, I need to do it again. It's 7 hours. What are you going to do? So I drove out 7 hours. We did it all over again, and then came back, and we went back another 6 weeks later and did it again. And then I did one remote after that. And the remote I found actually, at first I thought it was kind of stupid because I'm like, I didn't feel anything. Yeah. And the guy called me 2 days later. He was like, Tam, how was the egg? And I said, nah, it's, the remote. I wasn't into it. And he goes, really, nothing? And he goes, no dreams? And I went, oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Yeah, there was. And he was like, tell me about it. I'm like, nope, you were in it. I said, it wasn't anything weird, but I said, it was way too it was like we were connected somehow. And I'm like, we're cool not talking about that.
Way too personal.
Yeah, it was. And it wasn't anything, intimate like that. It was intimate on an emotional level. It was almost like husbandly, but not in that way. It was just, it was way too much. I couldn't even speak about it.
It's one of those conversations that usually starts off as, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to get weird.
I couldn't even speak though. I was just like, no, we're not talking about it.
Well, I got to tell you, if that 50 minutes goes as fast as this hour just went,
yeah.
This is probably the fastest hour I think I've ever been in the studio.
That's because I got these lights. They mimic the harmonic egg. Tammie, I can't thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you
It's been
so
wonderful.
much.
That really, like I said, that was so interesting to me. That hour just flew by.
Wait till you try it in person, the egg.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. So go to abundanthealing.com.
Yes.
Abundanthealing.com.
Abundant Healing
Abundant
NJ.
Healing NJ.
Yep.
Abundanthealingnj.com.
Perfect.
You'll be able to see pictures. There'll be pictures, obviously, on this episode.
Beautiful.
And thank you so much.
Thank you. This was great.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. As always, let's think about all the stuff that we learned. A 7-hour drive can sometimes be worth it. When all else fails, you'll try anything. Everything doesn't work until it does. Necessity can bring about healing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the most important thing.
Very much so.
And nano.
And nano. No, Orson. Was it Orson take me when he's talking to Orson?
Yeah.
Orson.
Yep.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Suffering Podcast. For a digital business card, go to popple.com, put in the code TSP20 for a 20% discount. Don't forget that you can always listen to our episodes before you watch them. All of our audio episodes come out on Sunday in the full episode. Then they start airing on YouTube Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Don't forget to follow us on all social media, LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above. Follow the Suffering Podcast at the Suffering Podcast. Mike is at Mike_Failace, and I'm at Real Kevin Donaldson. And that's going to do it for this episode.